And now, Anna Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. What? Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 4 ugly, mean stepsisters named Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors. Wash the dishes. Do it all. Said Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona all together. One day, the king and Quadrillion Hand's messengers said, "Hear ye! Hear ye! The king of Quadrillion Hand is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Forting." But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. "He's going to marry me," said Fiona. Ophelia said, "No way, Fiona! He's going to marry me." Ursula said, "Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me." Ramona said, "All 3 of you are wrong! He's going to marry me." Later, Cinderella is so sad because she can't go to the ball and marry Prince 14, while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, Cinderella?" Cinderella responds, "I got lots of chores to be done. I can't go to the ball and marry Prince 14. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic." Cinderella's fairy godmother chants the magic words, "Quiddity, quaddity, quaddity, quoo," and waves her magic wand. Because of that, all of Cinderella's chores are all done. But Cinderella's fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin." Luckily, Cinderella has 4 pumpkins. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, and then chants the magic words, "Quiddity, quaddity, quaddity, quoo," and waves her magic wand to turn the 4 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 8 strong horses. And then Cinderella's clothes into a gathered crowd. Cinderella said, "I've never seen such a quadtastic gown. And get a lot of my glass slippers." Her fairy godmother said, "Have fun, mighty Cinderella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will turn back to the way it was before." Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Fortune was wondering who he should marry. Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona said all together, "He's walking towards me." But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince 14 dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realizes it's midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince 14 was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Quadrillion Hand to find her, and brought the 2 tiny glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door of the home where Cinderella and her stepsisters live, but instead of Cinderella, he finds Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ramona. He then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Kenny tried on these glass slippers. Fiona at first, but her feet are too big. Ophelia said, but her feet are too small. Ursula and Ramona did the same thing, but their feet don't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Forty notices Swarla's sweet singing. The glass slippers fit! Forella gets so excited because she's happy to have her Prince Forty back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And if you want to see some sequels, tell your friends about it. And then, take care, Andrew Stores. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents for the 3100 and episode special 31erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we, Andrew's Doers? Once upon a time, there was a young woman named 31erella. 31erella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Hilda, Isabella, Ramona, Tanya, Irina, Olivia, Nina, and Ella. All 9 of them made 31erella do all the chores and watch her work by saying, 31er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! One day, the king of Undrichelmham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Undrichelmham, his royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Undrichelmham. Can I come? Asks 31erella, but she's denied. So her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are invited. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister, but her younger sisters disagree. They even test her 31erella's dress. Later, 31erella is so sad, distraught and upset about not going to the ball and marry Prince Undrichelmham. Suddenly, she was crying so hard that she didn't know. Her fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, my dear 31erella. I'll fix everything for you, she said. She then waves her magic wand. And because of that, 31erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet, she said. 31erella, go fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, 31erella has 31 pumpkins and 62 mice. 31erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 31 pumpkins into a handsome coach and 62 mice and horses and fixes 31erella's torn dress and makes it bigger and better. 31erella said, I've never seen such a wonderful gown. Get out of my glass slippers, fairy godmother. How can I ever thank you enough? And climbed into the coach. 31erella, as fairy godmother said, well, you can't. But have fun, 31erella, my dear. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. 31erella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Undrichelmham says, Good evening, everyone. Prince Undrichelmham was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Undrichelmham responds, Yes, father. Suddenly, 31erella arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, say Tasha, Hilda, Isabella, Ramona, Tanya, Yadina, Olivia, Nina, and Ella all together. But Prince Unadrenaline is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 31 Arella. Prince Unadrenaline then says, "May I have this dance?" In which 31 responds, "I would be delighted." And so, 31 Arella and Prince Unadrenaline dance happily together, but later. 31 Arella checks her clock and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Unadrenaline was really worried that he might never see 31 Arella again. The king of Unadrenaline comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find 31 Arella, my dear daughter-in-law." And so, the king of Unadrenaline and Prince Unadrenaline began their journey all around Unadrenaline to find her 31 Arella, and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Unadrenaline knocked on the door of the home where 31 Arella and her 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 31 Arella, they find Tasha to Ella. Prince Unadrenaline then said, "Ladies, my father, the king of Unadrenaline, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper? Tasha is first, but her foot is too big. Hilda is next, but her foot is too small." "Nonsense! It fits!" she said. "The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size." Suddenly, the king of Unadrenaline and Prince Unadrenaline noticed saying, "Your Majesty and Prince Unadrenaline, is that you guys?" she hollered excitedly. "The glass slipper fits!" And 31 Arella, the king of Unadrenaline and the Prince Unadrenaline lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Sorry it's been a few side effects, but don't worry. And by the way, I've been debating on making some sequels. So if you want to see maybe someday 31 Arella 2, 31 Wishes Come True, or something like that. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew's Doers. Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 58 Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 58 Arella. 58 Arella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tara, Yadina, Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, and Tasha. All 10 of them made fun of 58 Arella and made her do all the chores. 58er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said all 10 of them together. One day, the king of Otto Quinn Quadrant Tumbleham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Otto Quinn Quadrant and Tumlingham, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has with lots of food. And after dinner at 10 o'clock, whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Otto Quinn Quadrant Tumbling. Can I come?" asked 58 Arella. But she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. "He's going to marry me," said Fatima. "No way, Fatima! You're wrong! He's going to marry me!" said Ivana. "Both of you are wrong! He's going to marry me!" said Fernanda. The rest say, "All 3 of you are wrong! He's going to marry me!" And then They tear 58-year-old's best party dress. Later, at 8 o'clock at night, 58-year-old is distraught, upset, and sad, doing chores about not going to the ball. Suddenly, 58-year-old's fairy godmother arrives and comforts her. There now, 58-year-old. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you, she said. And so, she waves her magic wand to do all the chores for 58-year-old. But she's not done yet, she says. 58-year-old, go fetch me a pumpkin and some ice. Luckily, 58-year-old has 58 pumpkins and 116 mice. 58-year-old's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 58 pumpkins into a handsome coach, 116 mice into horses, and then 58-year-old's work clothes into a gown and crown. 58-year-old says, I've never seen such an octo quinquagen double-tastic gown. You get it out of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 58-year-old's fairy godmother says, well, you can't, but have fun, 58-year-old. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. It's 9 o'clock now, and so 58-year-old accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumblingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling was wondering who to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling respond, yes, father. At 10 o'clock, 58-year-old arrives at the ball for the food first. Just in time, 58-year-old then sees Prince Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Fatima and Tasha, say, he's walking towards me altogether. But Prince Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 58-year-old. After dinner says, Prince Aqua, Quadrant, and Tumbling asks, may I have this dance? And so 58-year-old responds, I would be delighted. 58-year-old and Prince Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling dance happily together. But later, 58-year-old checks her clock, and it's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling was really worried that he might never see 58-year-old again. The king of Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling comforts him by saying, there now, son. I think we'll be able to find 58-year-old, my dear daughter-in-law. And so, the king of Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling, and Prince Octa, Quadrant, and Tumbling traveled all around the neighborhood to find 58-year-old and brought the two glass slippers with them. By the time they arrived, they knock on the door of the house where 58-year-old and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 58-year-old, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters, Fatima to Tasha. Prince Aqua, Quadrant, and Tumbling then says, ladies, my father, the king of Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? Fatima's first, but her feet are too big. Yvonne is next, but her feet are too small. Nonsense! They fit! She said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, the king of Octa, Queen, Quadrant, and Tumbling, and Prince Aqua, Quadrant, and Tumbling known as 50 Cinderellas, was sweet singing. Prince Arta, quick, what did you tell me in your majesty? Is that you guys? She hollered excitedly. The glass slippers fit! And 50 Cinderella, the king of Arta, Queen, Quadriga, Tumlingham, and the Prince Otto, Queen, Quadriga, Tumlingham lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And don't forget to subscribe, like it, share, and introduce everything, and buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Introduce Everything proudly presents 85erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young woman named 85erella. 85erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Yanina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. All 10 of them made fun of 85erella and made her do all the chores. 85er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Eliza to Ella all together. One day, the king of Octa, Queen Octagen Tumlingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Queen Octagen Tumlingham is going to throw a ball. Whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Queen Octagen Tumbling. But 85erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Eliza, the oldest stepsister. Isabella said, No way, Eliza! He's going to marry me. And the rest said, No, he's going to marry me. Later, 85erella is so sad, distraught and upset of doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Quinaja Tumbling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 85erella by saying, There, my dear sweet 85erella. I can have a bit of magic. And waves her magic wand. Because of that, 85erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 85erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 85erella has 85 pumpkins and 170 mice. 85erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 85 pumpkins into a handsome coach, this 170 mice into horses, and then 85erella's ripped clothes into a gown and crown. 85erella says, I've never seen such a Queen Octagen tumble-tastic gown. You get a little of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? 85erella's fairy godmother says, Well, you can't. But have fun, 85erella. But I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before, and gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 85erella accepted the warning and climbed into the coach. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Queen Octagen Tumlingham says, Good evening, everyone. My son, Prince Queen Octagen Tumbling, was ready to marry. Isn't that right, son? In which Prince Queen Octagen Tumbling responds, Yes, father. Suddenly, 85erella's arrives just in time for the ball. Eliza, Isabella, Georgia, Hannah, Tasha, Edina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, "He's walking towards me," all together. But he's not walking towards any of them. Prince on Quinaja is walking towards 85 Ella. He then asks, "May I have this dance?" asks Prince Quinaja, in which 85 Ella says, "I would be delighted." Prince Quinaja and 85 Ella dance happily together. But later, 85 Ella checks her clock. It's almost midnight. Because of that, she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quinaja was really sad and worried that he might never see 85 Ella again. The king of Quinaja comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find her." And so, the king of Quinaja and Prince Quinaja began their journey all around Quinaja to find 85 Ella, and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the house where 85 Ella and Prince and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters live. But instead of 85 Ella, they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Quinaja then says, "Ladies, my father, the king of Quinaja and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper?" Eliza, the oldest, is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. "Nonsense! It fits!" she said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Quinaja and the king of Quinaja noticed 85 Ella sing. "Your Majesty and Prince Quinaja, is that you?" she heard excitedly. Prince Quinaja says, "Of course it's me. I love you. Will you marry me?" And the glass slipper fits. And so, Prince Quinaja, the king of Quinaja, and 85 Ella lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. And I've been making some sequels. So if you want to see maybe someday, maybe 85 Ella 2, 85 Wishes Come True, something like that, doesn't matter. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Knows Everything, and buy our merch at andrewknowseverything.com. Take care. Bye.